Hey everybody, Aaron Trevino here, and we are in South Padre Island, Texas, and we are with Justin Ross Ramirez. What's going on, Justin?
Hey guys, welcome back.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great connecting with you last year. I know that we did a podcast last year. You were kind enough to bring us out to your rentals in Edinburgh. We know the type of work you're doing, so it's great to see you again.
Yes, I was excited to get invited back to the channel, and I am excited about my new rental. In July, I'll be starting another Airbnb, so that'll be even more profit for my passive income.
Yeah, no, and it was neat too. We were out at your rentals. We were kind of speaking about these things, but now fast forward a few months, and it's really come to life for you.
Oh yeah, people are tired of being home and cooped up for this entire year. They're wanting to go out, go on vacation, visit family, and they want a big place to stay. They don't want to stay in hotels.
Yeah, no, completely. And it really, being with you at your properties really opened my eyes to, like you mentioned, not wanting to be at the hotels. When you're at the Marriott or the Hilton or whatever, any hotel, you don't get that real personable feel. But when we were in the units that you owned, it felt like you were at home.
Oh yeah, I mean, for the price that you're gonna rent, you're gonna get two beds, a king size, a queen size bed, a living room, three TVs. You're gonna get a dining room, a washer and a dryer,
Yeah.
for under $100 a night. You can't get that at a hotel sometimes. No way.
Yeah, no, completely. And it's one of those things where it may sound cliche, but it seems like the future is local, right? Instead of just, going to some big chain, like I said, the Marriott, the Hilton, whatever it is, you have a real local who knows the area like yourself, and you're personable, and you can go talk to them and say, hey, if you want to do that X, Y, or Z in town, it's available for you.
Oh yeah, I'm expanding. Hopefully by December, I'm gonna buy a beach house. We're here on South Padre right now. I've been searching on Realtor.com and Zillow. I'm looking at prices and saving money for that next rental. Hopefully one or two, but it would be a blessing to have four by December.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious about you. Was there any moment when you really had an aha moment that you wanted to get into this facet of real estate, or do you work in real estate full time, or how did you get started?
So it was all bigger pockets. It was a podcast they had maybe about 2 years ago. There was a woman there that was from Denver, and she started Airbnb in her unit. So she would rent out a room, and then she would rent out her roommate's room while she wasn't there, and she would go visit somebody else, and she would rent it out. And I was like, well, that sounds kind of interesting,
Yeah.
renting out a room and making profit. Well, then she moved to another city in Denver, around Denver, and she started renting that place and the place that she was at. And then she decided to move to Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, and had multiple rentals. So
Yeah.
that sparked my idea. You know what? It might be a little bit more work, but if it's going to have higher profits, then why not? And especially during the sickness, during COVID, I didn't have anything to do for almost 8 weeks. So starting this Airbnb, I had something to do. I was staging the house, and I was making more money than having a long-term renter.
It's interesting as well. You kind of mentioned you had that free time. You're wanting to put your money to work. You're wanting to make use of your time. And it kind of seems like your worlds collided and ended up working out for you.
It's crazy when people say like my money working for me. I think it as a little soldier. Every dollar is a little soldier looking for a penny, looking for 10 cents, looking for another dollar to keep growing. We want passive income. Short-term rentals isn't as passive, but yeah, no one wants to work when they're 40, 50, 60, 70 years old and having life pass by them and not being able to use their money. So right now I'm just trying to grow as much as I possibly can in my passive income side. So I'm about almost $4,000 a month just in passive income. That's still not as much as my current job, but it's growing. I do have a goal. I do one day want to have 200 long-term rental apartments. I do want to have 15 or 16 short-term rentals, either through Airbnb or Verbo or another platform.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it seems that at least now it's a necessity, right? So you're kind of having to strategize and find different ways to do things. You had that free time, and it seems like it all kind of came together for you. I mean, really, what's next for you?
Well, like I said, I do want to continue to grow, and we're in July of 2021. So by December, I at least want to have one more, either a beach property so I can start short-term rentals, or another fourplex and then rent out for short-term rentals and long-term. So it would be a mix.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just saving my money every month and increasing that so I can have a better, 20% down payment, and I can get into my next investment. So that's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a very important word there, which was down payment, right? So, when someone thinks real estate, they think big dollar amounts, high barrier to entry. It can be difficult to get a property. How are you able to start and scale up the way that you have?
Like I said, just saving, it's not being too frugal, but like you need to have a set plan or a goal. Like I want to save $100,000 in the next 2 years. Okay, how are you going to get there? Is it going to be $2,000 a month or $4,000 a month that you're going to set aside? Is it a second job that you're going to have? You have to have a short term. There's going to be short term pain for long term goals. Yeah. It's just like in sports. Like you're going to working out for that long term, win at the end. So just in real estate, I've just been able to save, invest my money into stocks and bonds, Coca-Cola, JP Morgan Chase, Manhattan, just constantly saving my money. And then when I'm ready to pull out, I can pull out and invest in what I need to. But there always has to be a goal. There has to be a set, even if it's a 6 months or a year, a 5-year, a 10-year plan. But like I said, my 10-year plan is to have 200 apartments. My 6-month plan is to get into another rental, short-term rental, or to get into a fourplex.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely impressed with what you're doing, but also, I'm impressed with your mentality too. And it seems like you're also having to make a psychological shift, right? Maybe a shift from earning a salary, you're working dollar for dollar, whereas you mentioned your dollars are, soldiers that are being put to work, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious, how did you kind of make that psychological shift into where you are now?
I was in a point in my life where I didn't have $100 to pay for the light. And I was like dead broke. They shut off the light. I couldn't even pay the $100 for the reconnection fee. And I told myself then, I'm never ever going to be in this spot again. I'm going to do whatever I have to, if it has to work 2 or 3 jobs or do whatever I need to get out of this rat race of having other people dictate how many hours you can work a week or when you can work or how much you can do. No, I decided, I read the books. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I've listened to podcasts. I didn't want to be in that situation where, what if a family member got sick and I had to take care of that family member or I had to go see them for a long period of time? If you're not working, you're not making money. But with passive income, you're making money while you sleep, while you're going on vacation. Hey, you know what? I'm going to I took a week off 2 weeks ago to go to LA.
Yeah.
And I was still making money through my investments, through my real estate, through my short-term rentals. When other people can't do that, I can because I've invested my money to make more money.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It always kind of takes one of those moments, right? Whether it's, they shut the water off, they shut the light off, whatever it may be. It kind of seems like those sort of experiences really forged your drive to go out and do something.
Oh, yeah. I have another friend that lives in San Francisco, and he wanted to live in San Francisco. So he lived in his car for almost a year. Because he wanted to be able to afford a place and to get a job. He was taking internships, but that was his drive. Like, I want to make it in San Francisco. That was his goal. That was his dream.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of times, at least in the social media culture, you're only seeing one side of the coin, right? Maybe you see someone has all this money, but you don't see Amazon started in a garage.
Sometimes Instagram and Facebook, people just put their best foot forward every time. It might be the best lemon, but at the end of the day, it might be bruised. Yeah. But it still makes lemonade.
Yeah.
You can still make something out of it. You have to take it with a grain of salt what the internet gives because we don't know everything is true. So you got to go out there and say, you know what? I might put the best pictures on Instagram, but this is what I'm really doing. This is what I want to show people that I'm really, investing and growing, and that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm curious at how you're able to shut out the noise, right? Because at least you're watching videos, there's podcasts, there's all this noise. People are vying for your attention. But for you talked about making that plan, sticking to the plan, and getting on it. How do you stay focused on a daily basis?
How do I stay focused? It's part of it is OMAD, eating 1 meal a day, focusing on okay, I got to go to work here. These are what I got to do. Tonight I have to, edit videos. Tonight I have to turn in paperwork. You just have to have a set of goal. Like you have to be tired. You have to be sick and tired of your life to say, you know what, I'm going to be out of this rat race. I'm going to do something different.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's always, maybe it's one moment, or maybe you just get up one morning and you say, hey, I can't do this anymore, right? And you make some sort of transition.
Well, people, they fall out of love, they fall out of their career, they fall out of their jobs because they say, you know what, I can't do this. But you have to be either, persevere and decide, you know what, this is what I really want out of life.
Yeah, definitely. And in this, like I mentioned, it's such an interesting time, here in Texas, and there's a lot of growth. And not to mention, also, an interesting time to be in short-term rentals, right? Because it seems like it's more nuanced and it's a bit different than other facets of the industry.
Yeah. So the last time Airbnb grew was in 2008 during the financial crisis. People needed an extra income. So it grew exponentially, Airbnb. And now that we've had COVID, people want to go out and go do things. So I think it's just gonna explode more with short-term rentals, VRBO, because people want to go out and do things. You see that people are going out hiking more often now. So even hip camp, people might even want to invest there, or get a trailer and go park it somewhere.
Sorry, what's hip camp you said?
Okay, hip camp is, so if you own a piece of property, let's say you own 5 acres out in the countryside or even in the city, you can charge people $30 a day or $40 or $50 a day, and you can park your trailer and you can have an experience there at their lots. So you can make, as a host, you can make $30 a day. You can have 5 campsites, or you can have 1 campsite, and people will rent that area, and for that night they'll have that space. They can do stargazing. They might be able to hunt on your land, or just go camping, or they can invite other people to go camping. That's a big shift that hasn't been happening before, but now that people are going out into parks, they're being able to do that.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting as well. We talked about a lot of the growth down here in the Rio Grande Valley, the entire state of Texas, but it also seems like we're kind of having a revolution in how we live in America, right? We kind of had our certain way of life. Maybe you had the suburbs and you had cities were built in a certain way, whereas now it's kind of like things have changed a bit and are continuing to change, and you're in a really interesting part of the business.
Everything has changed in the last 60 years. I mean, we were able to have, a mom stay at home and children, being raised by the mother and the dad, a single income, taking care of people. We can't have that now. We need to have, 2-parent incomes. Well, that necessarily doesn't have to be true. If you can build your passive income, you can both stay at home. You can be able to, raise your kids, take them to school, pick them up, take them to baseball or softball or whatever they need to do that week, take them to doctor's appointments, because you've built your passive income to grow. The American dream still exists in America. We still have immigrants coming into this country every single day. Either they're legal or illegal, because they see that America is a great place to live and a great place to be. Yeah,
definitely. There's definitely a lot of opportunity. And like you said, you mentioned how, the 2-parent income versus maybe just having one rock solid plan of, hey, I'm going to go all in on this investing. And like you said, you have your normal income and your passive income, and it seems like it's working out.
Yeah. I want my passive income to exceed my regular job, 9 to 5. I wanted to be able to say, what, I can officially retire. Right now, I can officially retire, but only have $200 a month. And to me, $200 a month is not enough. So I'm continuing to grow. I wanted to be able to pay for my vacations, pay for any odds and ends that happen in life.
Yeah, totally. And what I find interesting is, at least right now, you didn't say, hey, I want to buy a fancy Lambo or a fancy house. It was more of, hey, I want to invest in myself, the lifestyle, and, have those experiences, right?
Well, everybody wants the Lambo on Instagram. Everybody wants that. But when it comes out to it, you need, $16,000 in tires. You need $16,000 in brakes. The gas isn't cheap to drive around. There's maintenance. Even in a, from a little Honda Civic, you're going to expect $4,000 a year in maintenance. When it comes to the higher end cars, they are expensive. People would love to have a 5-bedroom house, but they can't start off like that. They need to start in a single family or in an apartment to grow slowly. And in the world that we live in Instagram world, people just want to show the best sides of life.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm curious as well. Maybe someone, they're in another state. Maybe they have some cash they're sitting on they want to put to work. Or maybe they're just new to, short-term rentals, Airbnbs. You talked a bit about formulating a plan, getting started. Should they look for partners, or, how should people go about getting to the position you're in?
So for Airbnb, the best bet is look at the area. If you live in a small town, is there Airbnb? Do you think it would hit? Do you think, what do people charge every night? Does it cover the cost of the rent, the mortgage, the light, the water, the internet? Just the basics. If it does cover that, then, go ahead and invest. Have a small investment. If you're going to start with your own apartment, you can start with a spare room. If you want to rent out, do arbitrage and go rent an apartment and ask for a corporate lease, you can go do that. But you have to go out there, you have to research, you have to put in the legwork. You have to put in something to get in there to get something out. So you need to make sure, look at people's calendars, make sure if it's going to be able to work in their town. And you never know.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that when you were kind enough to have us come out to your properties as well, it's in a great area, a lot of growth, a lot of new construction, people moving there. There's a university, there's people in the medical field coming, and it seems like the sky's the limit there.
Oh yeah, of course. You want to have either a national park, you might have a hospital, you might have a university, you might have water parks, you might have a beachfront. There's tons of little different things that people might want to visit. Not necessarily just the beach. They might want to visit a family member in the hospital. They might want to visit a state park or a national park.
Yeah, definitely. So you've found your niche, you've kind of honed in on, okay, hey, this is more or less my plan. I mean, is it good to kind of try to bring in partners to help you with the capital, or, how should someone maybe go about this in terms of putting a down payment down and kind of doing things financially, right?
So it's going to take some money. It's going to take some money because you're gonna have to look for tables. You're gonna have to look for a furnished apartment, non-furnished apartment, everything down from soap to pots and pans and things like that. So there's going to be some kind of investment. So you might have to ask your parents. You might have to ask your family, your spouse to get in the door. And like I said, you can start off with a room. You can rent out a room in your apartment, or you can go rent an apartment. But there are tons of options through Airbnb and VRBO.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. When you're able to tell people what you're doing, people come out of the woodwork and even help you, right? Kind of how you mentioned having maybe, a support system, that girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whoever, friend, colleague, whatever, to help you out, right?
Oh, yeah. They might know cleaners. They might know, plumbers. They might know different things like that. If you're arbitraging a place, the landlord will pretty much take care of everything that's large that the tenants might be using. But yeah, there's always tons of options. You don't necessarily need to have a house. You can always rent a trailer, an RV. You can rent that and then see people stay. Here on the island, for this July 4th weekend, there was people renting their trailers for $350 a night.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big price.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting now how, at least from my memory, I don't remember seeing this 5 or 10 years ago. I don't know about you, but
well, like I said, people are tired of being home for an entire year and they want to get out. They want to get out of their little comfort zone or their house that they've been in there for over a year.
Yeah, completely. Well, Justin, I appreciate this conversation. It's always real eye-opening, even speaking to you, whether it's over the phone, in person, coming out to see you, here in the Valley. You always have a lot of knowledge and gems about the industry, so it's always great to connect with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully we can do some more videos in the future and we can see how we grow here in the Valley, both of us.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you, guys.